Is that your clap?
That's a shit clap. Oh, settle down.
Every time.
Don't threaten him. Or I'll clap again.
Hello, in this episode of the Oz F1 show, we review episode 2 of Netflix's Drive to Survive Season 3.
I'm glad you you struggle there a second. Good episode.
Good episode.
A lot of Albon struggles, a lot of Lando wins. That's kind of the end of this episode. A lot of other things happen, but they're kind of the big takeaways I had.
This is an emotional episode because this is obviously the second time, well, not obvious, this is the second time that Albon robbed of a podium by Lewis Hamilton with fairly similar circumstances. A lack of aggression in Brazil the year before, and then people would say over-aggression now in Austria. I think incredible, like just a move. There's no way that Hamilton didn't see him alongside. If you're interested in hearing about that, go to our recap episode of the race from last year. But talking about this, man, I got emotional at the end of watching that. Like high emotion for Lando, love that, and McLaren as a whole, and devastated for Alex because we know how it plays out, don't we, in the future?
Yes, we know how that story finishes, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and
sad.
while we were watching that episode, we're talking about what if Brazil came off and he got a podium? What if he came through and got the win here? Because he was on the better strategy. He had every chance. If he got past there, he was going to get past Valtteri too.
Yeah, yep.
So the what if start creeping in because then you wonder now how his mindset is going after those two kind of big tragic losses there. What could have been?
Yeah, man. Interesting in the beginning. So that's the emotional part of the episode. But at the beginning of the episode, we talked about Mercedes, Das, and Christian Horner, who we call Karen Horner, because all he does is complain all the time. But to be fair to him in saying that, I agree. His whole point was you can't just stand there and do nothing. You've got to actually get up there and do it. And my favourite interaction, I think, in that whole episode was him and Toto walking up the stairs together. And like Toto going, yeah, okay, you're going to, go to the FIA and complain about it. But him going,
The manager.
but what an innovation though, am I right?
And he's like, no, full credit to you, obviously, but I'm also going to take you to the principal's office
Yeah,
and see what I
correct.
can get.
Can I see your manager?
Yes.
That's John Todd, who's
Exactly.
like, no, I'm on Mercedes' side.
He's like, they pay better than Red Bull.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
The allegedly Oz F1 show. That's what we should start calling this.
No, it was very good. And you could see Toto throughout very kind of regal and in control until they get protested on Lewis's qualifying lap, who failed to see a yellow flag.
Yeah.
Right up until they were moving the car. And we probably didn't know this. Like, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
This is enlightening from Netflix, which is what we love about this series, is the things
good.
that we don't see
Yep.
throughout. But so they were pushing the car onto second place on the grid, and then they were told there was a 3-place grid penalty, so they were having to move the car
Switch the
back.
cars around.
That would have just messed with Lewis. Like,
Totally.
that would have messed with him. You can see Toto was just like, maybe one hair fell out of place probably because he's still just professional as. But you could see it kind of shook him. He was like, he got us here. Like, that late in the day before the start of the race, like a perfect way to rumble.
Yeah.
Rumbling around.
And I mean, it turned out that it didn't really matter anyway because Lewis has the faster car, got past Albon like it was nothing, really like he was standing still.
But
Interesting.
Let's talk about Lando. Last lap Lando. This is where last lap Lando
That's
started.
where it exists. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lando Norris, he had his first year in Formula One the year before. He took over one of the, well, he didn't really take over seats. It had a whole new driver lineup with Carlos Sainz and Lando, replacing Stoffel Van Dorn and Fernando, who's come back from the dead now, 2 years later into Alpine. But McLaren were nowhere. And, tried to get Danny Ric across from Red Bull. He ended up going to Renault for the Grand Prix. But it was, a junior driver who didn't belong to any junior racing program. So he wasn't part of the junior program for Ferrari or Red Bull or Renault or whatever. which kind of worked for him because he didn't really belong anywhere, and McLaren was perfect for him. He wasn't super aggressive the year before. Carlos, being the better driver, and we've said many times, the best driver, or the most improved driver in 2019 was Carlos Sainz for sure. Like, just no question there. But Lando, as Zach said, had to be a little bit more aggressive. And he was. And he just switched it on. I know Campy was like, oh, he's done all this gaming and, you can't prepare anything. He's sitting on Twitch and, that's not real
He
racing.
even referenced that as well. He's like, how weird it was. He got back in the car. He's like, this is alien.
Yeah.
On his first lap, but you could see kind of him like getting into it. He's like, all right, we're back.
And it's hard enough probably getting in it for the first time ever, experiencing G-force and that sort of stuff, let alone doing it for a full year and then having all that time off. Would have been difficult. But he just turned it on. Concentrated like that last lap, fastest lap, to get with 4.8 gap to, which is 0.2 to then take a podium, was epic. And you could like the overwhelming excitement and joy of the cup that McLaren hadn't had a victory or even a podium since 2012. Like that's Jensen's era. He's moved on. All this other crap happened. The GP2 engine thing with Fernando. And they're back to being awesome again.
Especially,
it's great.
So you hear him, Lando's getting a massage pre-race.
Yes.
And you hear him get told that Lewis has got a penalty. He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
man.
like, where's Lewis? He's like, I don't care. Like, I'm starting third. Sick. Awesome. Starts the race. He gets passed by Lewis for this like to kind of come full roundabout at the end and then manage to get within inside that penalty window to get the podium instead of him. Incredible. And just the elation of the whole McLaren garage. Exploding. COVID, what? Let's hug everyone.
Everyone. Here's Zach at the very beginning of the episode doing aggressive elbow bumps, and people are going, hey, nice to see you. And then just bear hugging Lando until he almost died and broke his back. But this has been my favourite episode so far. It's only the second episode, but more to come. Stick with us for the next episode as we review episode 3 of season 3 of Drive to Survive.